So you all want to know what you have to do in high school to get into a good college. Well, you have come to the right place because I'm going to be breaking it down completely for you guys. I'm going to be telling you all the secrets that got me into top schools like Yale, Princeton, Columbia, Penn, etc. So first, if you don't know me, my name is Christian and I'm going to be an incoming sophomore at Yale studying computer science. And I'm from Atlanta. I went to a pretty large public high school with like 2,000 to 2,500 in the suburbs. Throughout high school, I focused mainly on STEM, specifically like physics and quantum computing, but I also had a big passion for cello performance, and that was like my other main big thing. Okay, so let's get into it, guys. Let's talk about what you need to do to be successful to get into like an Ivy League school. So first of all, I really think that one of the most important things that you can control is extracurriculars, and I think it's honestly the biggest thing out of everything, because like there's all these other components on your application. If you don't know, you have your extracurriculars, you have your essays, you have your recommendations, and your academics for the most part. And you know, out of those, I really think one of the biggest weights is to the extracurriculars. Like you can do your essays too, and those are important, but if you're kind of earlier in high school, you're not going to be as worried about that till you get to that point. So you need to hone in more on specifically your extracurriculars and grades. To be honest, with grades, like you need to have good grades and test scores, but it's not everything, because you know you have so many students scoring well,
bombastic side eye,
and so many students getting all A's that you know it's not enough, is basically what I'm saying, to differentiate you among applicants. And this is why you know these top schools have such low acceptance rates, because they get many qualified applicants, but they have to find some way to differentiate between them. And if I'm gonna be honest, guys, I mean, I might not be the best example because I didn't get into my top school that I wanted to at the time, which was MIT. But, you know, I really think that there's a certain caliber of person that will get to Ivy League admissions. But once you're at that point, I don't know if you can for sure guarantee you get into any specific school, I'm gonna be honest, because there are some random elements of it. You're not trying to build the perfect class, you're trying to build a perfect class. Or maybe perfect is not the right word, but you know what I mean. So my point in saying that is that there could be multiple variations of that class that could be great, but they have to settle with just one because it's the real world, it's life, and they have limited space. I will say, maybe if you're super insanely cracked, you could get into like every school you apply to. That does happen a few times, but that is so rare. It is already so rare to like be in my position and get into an Ivy League or like multiple, but getting in like everything is like, you can try, but I'm not gonna lie, there is a certain level of privilege involved. And I think anyone can come here, can get to this point, but a lot of people that go to these schools are privileged and they have advantages that allow them to be able to do the things that they did, and people around them that were aware of these opportunities. So I'm gonna try to do my best to inform you so we can try to level that playing field. Anyway, I'm just gonna talk about extracurriculars first because, as I said, I think they're probably the most important element of your application that you have control over earlier in high school. So first, to start off, I think what you really want to do is you want to build an applicant profile, and how you're going to do this to be distinguishable to, you know, other students applying is by picking a passion and becoming good at it. Now, there's a certain way to be smart about this. I mean, you know, sometimes you'll be lucky, you know, if you've played cello like me since 3rd grade, then I could use that as something to like showcase in my admissions. But you know, if you start in 9th grade, like you're probably not gonna be good enough within those 4 years to distinguish yourself among like the many other applicants. So there's definitely like a way to go about it, and I think it's being really smart with how you're distributing your time. So what I mean is that, you know, you could have all these things you do. You could have, for me, like cello performance. I could have also maybe been interested in art or maybe playing a sport. But you have to realize that you have limited time and you can get burnt out. So what I'm saying is that you have to spend more time on the things that are going to help you. And if you're doing something to an extent where it's not really going to distinguish you from other applicants,
I'm not saying completely drop it, but definitely reconsider your time commitment.
and I know that might sound kind of bad because maybe I'm advocating for you to like not do things you enjoy just for the sake of enjoying it, but it really is a game you have to play, because like I think maybe once you're in college and after, you can afford to do that more. But if you are really trying to like get yourself from the place you are and get to an Ivy League, and maybe that can mean your family has never gotten to that point and you are really trying to break that barrier, like you're gonna have to make some sacrifices. And that's one of them. Unless you already are like extremely talented at something, you're probably gonna have to spend more time on something that will be appealing to an admissions officer versus something that is something you just do for fun that you're not actually that good at. And I don't want you to feel too pressured to have it completely locked in. How I see it is that what you should do is just at the start of high school, pick a passion that you think you can be successful at and that you don't absolutely hate, and then pursue that. Because you can completely change what you want to do in college. That's literally what I did. I didn't really do anything CS related that much in high school, but then I decided I wanted to do it when I went into college, and you have that freedom. So you should just pick something, because if you stick to something and you go to a high level within that, that is something that will show to college admissions officers that you have the capability to succeed in their college. Now, after you've picked a passion to pursue, I think one thing to really give some thought to is how you're going to make yourself distinguishable with this. Because there's so many people out here that are doing the same things, and it was literally everyone in my high school. I feel like my high school had a lot of really smart people that would score high on the SATs and have really good grades, but not many people getting into good schools. And the reason was because a lot of people did very basic activities. And this is something that you have to be aware of, and you can't fall into that trap. Like, you might feel like, oh, I'm gonna, do my school student council, I'm gonna be part of this club at my school. Like, you have to go further than that if you want to be distinguishable, So it takes one initiative. I'm not saying you have to found your nonprofit, because even that's something so many people do, and it's just kind of performative. But you have to really think, like, how are you going to distinguish yourself? And I would like to give some tips for you guys to help you with that. So I think for me, what I think really distinguished me a lot of my application was the fact that I did some prestigious summer programs surrounding the things I was interested in. So I did an MIT summer program called MITES. Actually, technically the program I did was a semester version that was online, but it was still a program. I also did National Youth Orchestra for cello, and I think that was something that really stuck out to admissions officers well. So it's if you are able to get to a point where you can apply to these things, and you should be applying to these things, because it's a good practice for actual college applications, but also these opportunities are amazing. A lot of them, both of those things I just listed, and then another program I did, kind of my state governor's school, were completely free, and I got to meet so many amazing people through it. So it's why wouldn't you do that? So that's one big thing I advocate for, applying to summer programs, doing the research in your own field, whatever you're studying, and then trying to find that. Another good thing you could be doing is by participating in organizations outside of your school. And I really think it is a lot more beneficial to do that than things within your school, because everyone is doing student council, robotics, math team, all of these very common extracurriculars. So it's you really have to do something kind of at a more regional or state level to really be distinguished. So I encourage you to look for those maybe organizations, maybe competitions, things of that nature that are more at a state level, and that is something that will really allow you to be more distinguishable. And I think the third type of way that you can really take your passion from, something that's very basic to something very extraordinary is to put your own initiative on it by doing something that is kind of more entrepreneurial, or something you do on your own. So this could be a project that you end up presenting at a competition, or it could be something else a nonprofit, which that's a different discussion, but maybe you make your own organization or something like that. If you're actually doing something, I think that can be very appealing. Another idea that just came to my mind as something you can do as well is research. And I think research is also a great way to distinguish yourself, but maybe at a more higher caliber, because definitely like a lot of people are out here doing research, like let's be for real. But I think it's a good extracurricular especially if you are STEM, to like add. The next thing I'm going to talk about, not for too long, but it is important, which is test scores and also grades. And these are things that you need to lock in for. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, like the people that get into these schools are smart and have great grades, and you really need to lock in. Like, I don't think you should be spending so much time on your grades that it doesn't allow you to, you know, pursue those other things I talked about, but you need to be able to do both, honestly, if you want to be distinguishable. And I mean, I do know people with like less than perfect GPAs that got into these schools, but it's rare. It's definitely more rare, and you definitely have a much higher shot at guaranteeing your placement if you have great grades and stats. And the best way to do this is like, okay, like maybe your freshman year can be like a flop grade wise, but like by sophomore year, like you really need to lock in your grades and, you know, make sure you're studying. Make sure, honestly, more important than studying, I think, is paying attention to class. I think that is the one thing that distinguishes people that like get good grades versus people that don't get good grades. You know, the best way to go about studying tests is to start early, for sure. Like, guys, I'm gonna be honest, I probably started taking SATs when I was like in middle school, and that's probably what helped me, you know, be prepared by the time I was taking them in high school. And it's not to say that like you need to be grinding it out that early, but like you should start, you know, gradually, maybe every month, just like, oh, I'll take an SAT and see how I do, and then really be able to self-evaluate where you need to go. And you should, by the minimum, start seriously taking SATs for college by junior year, because if you wait until senior year, like you're gonna be doing your apps, it's gonna be way too much at the same time. So you need to start early, and that is the best way to guarantee you'll get a good score. Like, let's be honest. And my last little piece on this is that like, if you want to get a good score, the best way to practice is by actually doing practice tests. So that's what you're gonna have to do your practice questions, practice sections, practice tests, but just use the College Board content, because that is most accurate to what the test is gonna be like. Next, I want to talk about something actually very underrated, which kind of does tie into the paying attention aspect and grades a little bit, but believe it or not, guys, you know, your teacher recommendations are an extremely important part of your application, at least for Yale, because I actually read my admissions file, and this was a very like significantly talked about portion. So, and I think the reason why it is because you don't really have that much control over it, you know, by the time, because they're really looking for any way to distinguish applicants because they just have way too many. And this is a good way because, you know, by the time you're asking for these recommendations, like, you already were in your classes, so like you can't really change what they say about you, you know? And because of that, like, that is why it's important to, you know, low-key be a goody two-shoes in your classes and be that student that is doing the most. And I think that's something that definitely helped my recommendations. Like, I remember in like one of my math classes, like I was like the only student who would do the homework. Like, the homework wasn't necessary, but I literally like probably needed to do the least two. I probably had like one of the highest grades in that class. Yeah, I would still do the homework and ask the teacher questions about it when no one else would do, and that distinguished me. Another good thing you could be doing is like asking teachers you've had twice. That was something else I did, because then it's like they see your growth over years. But yeah, there's not too much more to elaborate on this section, honestly, but just try to, you know, get to know your teachers, and then also just like be really good in their classes and participate. And that is something that will actually carry you much further than you might think it would. Okay guys, that's gonna be it for this video. I hope it was informative. I tried to jam pack as much of my like college consulting, college application knowledge that I had in my head into as short as possible. So I really just hope this was useful to you. I'd have another video like this on my channel, but figured it was time to make another one since someone suggested, and I really just want to be helping people as much as I can. So please comment if this helped, and then also subscribe if you'd like to see more content, and bye.